Bob's Breakfast.
That's an amazing story, that Welsh bloke that chopped his hand off doing DIY. So this morning, what's your DIY disaster story? When has it gone horribly wrong? Have you got a good story? You can win something cool from My Tool Shed. Yes, it's a DAB radio, but it's from DeWalt, the makers of the power tools that cut your hand off the quickest. Yes, actually, I don't know if it was a DeWalt power tool that cut that bloke's hand off, but it would have done a nice job of it. The DeWalt DAB radio could be yours if you tell me your DIY disaster story. Stop the show. We've got a medical emergency on our hands. You probably know that the traffic has been bad on the A1M. There's been accidents northbound between 5 and 6. This has caused problems southbound. Gary's on the phone. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning.
You've had an interesting morning.
My wife's pregnant. She actually went into labour during the night.
Yeah.
Well, we've been stuck on the A1. We've been diverted round through network, which is at a complete standstill. So we're stuck there at the moment.
Can you put your Mrs. Tracey on the phone for us?
Hello.
Tracy, how are you hanging in there?
Yeah, fine.
Okay. Now, are the emergency services aware of your problem?
No, we managed to flag down a police car.
Yeah.
And they said if we needed to, we'll just have to call an ambulance. There's nothing they can do.
Right.
But that's not really going to help when the traffic's at a standstill.
Okay. Is this your first baby?
No, fifth.
Fifth. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've got quite a lot of experience in this area. So based on your experience, how close do you think you are to giving birth?
Well, hopefully not too far away, but not too quick that it's going to happen in the car.
Yes. All right. Can I check back in with you in a few minutes' time?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Whatever you do, don't push.
All right.
All right then. Okay. Talk to you soon, Gary and Tracy.
Okay.
Goodness me.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.
Let's get the latest news now with Chris Hubbard.
A report by Swedish telecoms experts Ericsson suggests smartphones could be about to die out. Instead, we'll speak to artificially intelligent helpers without needing a screen, according to people polled by the giant.
Like Siri.
Yes, like Siri.
Siri doesn't work. Hey Siri, when will smartphones die?
I believe Amy Smart is still alive.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
Not
yeah.
even close. So they reckon this is the future.
This is the future.
Something that doesn't work.
That's the future. And also, many tech gurus, they're saying predict that wearable gadgets...
Here it is, wearable tech.
Such as the Apple Watch...
Wearable tech.
...will slowly start to replace smartphones.
Honestly, the techie people have got this so wrong. They're like the Met Office for forecasting the future. They couldn't be more wrong. The Met Office, of course, the people who brought us the 38 days of Arctic winter that we were going to have in the run-up to Christmas. Instead, we got one cold morning and floods up north. The floods they failed to predict. Even though we get floods at this time of year every year, they failed to predict that one and predicted instead 38 days of Arctic winter. The same people that brought us, what was it, the hottest, driest June on record, and we got the wettest, coldest June on record. They couldn't be more wrong. Now, the techs are the Met Office. They have been banging on about this wearable tech. We hear nothing else but wearable tech, wearable tech, wearable tech. Nobody wants wearable tech. Nobody wants a jacket that can give you directions. Nobody wants that. And the proof of it is the most heavily marketed piece of wearable tech ever has been the Apple Watch.
Oh, really marketed?
Oh,
they must have put
and you go into
it.
any Apple store. If you want to be alone with your thoughts, stand by the table where the display of Apple Watches are. And a packed Apple store will have people around the iPhone and the iMac and the iPad. The Apple Watch table, there will be nobody on it. If you want some quiet time, alone, go and stand in any busy Apple store by the Apple Watch table. Wearable tech, we simply don't want it. And now the geeks have managed to combine two things, the wearable tech myth with the electronic virtual assistant myth. The Apple Watch, nobody wants it. The virtual assistant, Siri, doesn't work. We're going to end up with a wearable thing that's more than useless that nobody wants. David, you might be able to help.
Reference to the lady and gentleman who are expecting a baby in network. If they drive through all the lanes are empty, so I'll be able to zigzag through to Stevenage. They come into the back of Datchworth.
Yes.
And then go through the lanes if they've got a sat nav on the phone, they'll be able to link that in.
Yes.
And get to Stevenage. It'll probably only take them about 20 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. Cheers.
All right, cheers, thanks.
All
bye.
right, thank you. If you've any other advice or you know what to do here, or if you can give Gary any advice on how to be a midwife. 01438 422 106.
106 Bob FM.
It's an all-winner show. I'd like to know what you've won. Debbie.
I took my pony into a little competition and we won pony that most looks like its owner, which is lovely, but my pony's small, fat, hairy with a big bum.
Young people have never had it so bad.
They're saying people under 34 have suffered the biggest slide in income and employment compared with older groups.
What annoys me about these reports is they give people an excuse to give up. And that is an awful thing to happen. So let me just say this to anybody under the age of 34. It's what you make it. There will be obstacles and it won't be easy. But it's not supposed to be easy. You only feel good about yourself if you achieve something that's difficult to achieve. There's a series of books I read years ago, great books. They're called Chicken Soup for the Soul. There's a story in one of the Chicken Soup for the Soul books about a bloke who sees a chrysalis. And he watches it and he thinks, one day, a butterfly is going to come out of that chrysalis. And every day he checks it and he looks at it and he looks, and then one day, he sees a little hole appear in the chrysalis. And he sees the butterfly working its way out. And it's working its way out and it's breaking through the shell of the chrysalis and it's working its way out. And then, after a while of working, it stops. And it looks to the man like it's given up. It's not moving. Now, he's been kind of attached to this thing. He's been watching it for a while. So he takes his penknife and he cuts away a little bit more of the chrysalis and he lets it come out. But what comes out isn't a butterfly. It's a kind of a withered bug. Its wings are shriveled and it kind of hobbles around. It's really sad. Now, he didn't know that in nature, the way this works is, when a butterfly comes out of a chrysalis, it stops about halfway and it squeezes into a little gap. And that forces blood into the wings so it can become a butterfly. You see, what this man had done with his kindness had tried to help out and remove the struggle. But it's the very struggle that makes the thing what it is. And without the struggle, you can't reach your full potential. You'll never grow wings, and you'll never fly.
Bob's Breakfast.
Huge jellyfish are swarming off the British coast.
Don't you have to get someone to pee on you?
Yes, you do. I think that's the idea, isn't it?
I don't know. But I just think, hasn't your day already gone badly enough? Gary, how far do you reckon you are from the Lister right now?
Well, we've just called an ambulance, so...
You have actually called an ambulance now?
Mum's on the phone to the ambulance because Mum's sat in the back.
Oh, your mum's in the back of the car as well?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not just you and Gary, because if Gary falls to pieces, maybe your mother can stay together. Can we cross back to you in a little bit and see how things are going?
You can.
Okay, it's Gary, Tracey, and her mum, somewhere in Nebworth.
Oh, my goodness.
Not far from here. It's a drama that's unfolding. It's gripping the home counties on Bob FM. How come the normal rules of business don't apply to Britain's train operators? I found out that not only do the rules of business not apply, the rules of physics don't apply either. So I was off on Monday because I went to a radio conference in London. For the first time in my life, I'm a commuter. That's because this thing happened in London between 8:30 and 5:30. I've never done this. I've never commuted to a major city for work. I've always driven to work, or when I was an air conditioning engineer, I was in a work van. When I worked at a construction site, a bus took me to work. I've never been a commuter. And what an experience it was. I caught the 7:51 Sardine Express to King's Cross from Hitchin. And I paid around twice as much as I normally pay for a return to London because it's peak. This is where the rules of business don't apply. Usually customers who pay the most get more. So there I was, squashed in with hundreds of other miserable people going to jobs that they hate. And standing up in the doorway, squashed next to a fat bloke and a skinny bloke, and I'm squashed so close to him, I reckon I could pretty well tell you which side he dressed. I'm not happy. There's a fold-up bicycle on my shin. We're all squashed in this thing. And then I see a sign, one of those ticker tape things on the train, that says, Great Northern Trains, follow us on Twitter. Well, I did better than that. I tweeted them. So my first tweet went, I'm on Hitchin to King's Cross. How come I pay twice as much for a peak ticket but don't get a seat? Now, I wasn't expecting a reply, but I got a reply from @GN Rail UK. The reply went like this. Peak services are exceptional busy, Graham. Are you able to get an earlier train to maximise your chance of getting a seat? Tina. Well, that made me even more angry, so I tweeted back to Tina. I said, it's not my fault you don't put on long enough trains. How dare you blame me? I paid for a seat. You failed to provide one. Now, I didn't hear from Tina after that. But what kind of response is that? Are you able to get an earlier train? Not now! I'm on this one! Or did I miss something? Was Tina suggesting that one of the platforms at Hitchin Railway Station is actually a portal into another dimension where I can travel backwards in time? Wouldn't have done me much good. The train before the 7:51 was the 7:31. And that was cancelled.
Bob's Breakfast.
Mark's on the phone. You think you can help?
Hey, Graham, if they're near you at Nebworth, why don't they shoot through Nebworth House, Junction 7, where the motorway's open, and then straight down the A1 to Lister?
Oh, cut through Nebworth House. I get you. You go in the back entrance of Nebworth House.
Yeah.
Go across the grounds of the house and then come out at the junction on the roundabout.
At the Novotel.
Brilliant, Mark. Thank you so much.
Okay, speak to you soon, Graham.
Cheers.
106 Bob FM.
Volkswagen have done nothing wrong. They're just playing the game. Look at the goal. It's about goals here.
Yeah.
The goal of Volkswagen is to sell cars.
That's
now,
right,
to
yeah.
sell cars, they have to pass this emissions test. Fine. They designed a car that can pass the emissions test. End of the story.
Yes.
Clearly, the test needs to be more rigorous.
This is Bob.
We've been honouring heroes this morning. Tyler and Liam Sellen, who at the time were 15 and 13, chased a killer down the street after a brutal attack. A judge praised them a couple of days ago, and on the phone now is Tyler Sellen. Good morning, Tyler.
Good morning.
Now, this all happened about a year ago.
Yeah.
This is in Bishop Stortford. Can you take me through what happened?
Well, our road is a cut through from town to other estates.
Yeah.
So we thought it was kids smashing cars.
So you're in your house and you hear a commotion.
Yeah, we thought it was kids smashing cars. We heard a smash.
Yeah.
So we looked outside, and our neighbour who lives opposite the house was shouting, "He's going to kill her! He's going to kill her!"
Mm-hmm.
So I went down and had a look through the bottom window, and the bottom window was smashed, and I saw a man walking upstairs, and then we looked at the top window, and then all we saw was a man throwing down punches towards who we thought was Sally Campion.
Which was his girlfriend?
Yeah, which was Sally Campion.
So you actually saw that going on through the window?
Yeah, we saw him murdering her.
It was a brutal attack, claw hammer, and just 41 separate injuries, they said.
Yeah.
So you saw some of that going on. So what happened next?
There's a bit around the back of the house where he could escape from, because there's a car park that leads onto the back of the house.
Yeah.
So I went round the back to make sure he didn't go to the back that way.
Now, is this in the daytime or the nighttime?
This was around 10 o'clock at night.
10 o'clock at night. OK, so you hear the commotion and then you see what's going on. Now, who's in your house at that time?
It was me, my mum, and my brother.
Just the three of you?
Yeah.
OK.
But,
So then you belt out the house and go round the back of his house?
It was around the back of Sally's house. Yeah.
Right, I see. And what were you thinking at that time? What was your plan?
My plan was just to make sure he didn't get away, because at that moment I just thought justice had to be served. He was attacking somebody and he had the right to serve time for it.
Wow. You weren't worried about your own personal safety because he's clearly a violent man.
No, at that moment I wasn't really worried. To be honest, the adrenaline kicked in.
Yeah.
And also there's so many neighbours about. If anything did happen to me, it wouldn't be quite serious straight away because there'd be so many people that come over to help straight away anyway.
There's a good community spirit in that area, is there?
Yeah, everyone on this road is like a massive family.
Okay, so then you get round the back. What happens next?
Then I heard my mum shouting,
Yeah.
and that's because the killer had walked out the front door
Yeah.
with no expression in his face. So I came back round the corner to see what was going on, and then that's when I noticed he was only a metre away from me, and all the neighbours were shouting, "That's the guy, go get him."
Now, did he have the claw hammer in his hand at the time?
No, he didn't have a
So he was
claw hammer in his
unarmed?
hand, but at that moment I didn't know if he did or didn't.
Right. So then what happened?
I was looking at him and he was looking at me, and he was walking slowly until I went to grab him, and then he decided to run away because he knew what was happening, and I was shouting at him, swearing at him. Then he decided to run away. When he ran away, that's when his flip-flops fell off,
Right.
and I chased him down to Newtown Road, but before I got to Newtown Road, I quickly went to the local pub to get some help from a few paramedics that I know were in there.
Who were in the pub that you knew were going to be in there?
Yeah.
Well, now, you're 16 now, you're 15 at the time, your younger brother's only 13. Are you big fellas like? Can you handle yourself?
yeah, we were actually a big for our age.
Right. And do you normally like a rumble? Do you like getting stuck in physically like this?
Yeah, I actually do. Me and my brother love to play rugby. We just
Right.
love rugby, so if we get a chance to go tackle someone, we love it.
He messed with the wrong neighbourhood here, didn't he?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, so you get to the pub and then what happens? Where's he now? Is he giving it toes down the street minus his flip-flops?
Yeah, he's running down the street without his flip-flops, and my brother's gone after him at that point.
Your brother, who's 13, is now
Yeah.
chasing this guy. Did you know then at the time that he was a killer?
Well, I thought he was a killer at that point because people were saying he's killing her. So immediately in my mind, he's murdered somebody.
Yeah.
And but then when I saw my brother running down the street, that's when I went after my brother to make sure he's okay.
Well, you're his big brother. That's your duty. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you get down to... And then what happened? You corner him down the street or what?
My brother got down to the bottom of the road, but then because Matthew was too fast for my brother...
Matthew is the killer, Matthew Keogh, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew had already gone over the bridge. So my brother found a police vehicle that he flagged down straight away.
He flagged down the cops?
Yeah, he flagged down the police vehicle before he lost sight of Matthew.
Yeah.
And he told them the description of Matthew and where he'd gone to. And that's when they went to the train station and caught him straight away.
And they caught him, and he's now serving life imprisonment with a minimum of 22 years.
Yeah.
Wow, so you were in court, what, day before yesterday?
Yeah, 2 days ago.
And the judge said some nice things about you two, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, actually. It was quite something. It was really nice, actually. And it was a bit nervous as well. We were sitting in the middle of the courtroom in front of the judges and the High Court sheriff.
Yeah, this is in St Albans.
Quite something.
Yeah, and so that's got to make you feel pretty special.
Yeah, it was. And especially since we got invited down to the judge's dining room afterwards.
Did you? Good for him. He gave you some money as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
You awarded, was it £300?
£350 each.
Each, just for being heroes.
Yeah.
Well, Tyler Sellen, I know your brother's at school at the moment. I wanted to talk to him as well. You're 16 now. You were 15 at the time. He was 13. You are solid gold heroes, no doubt about it. In fact, we have a thing called Bob's Best. I'm going to put you down as Bob's Best heroes. You really are. I wish there was more kids around like you. You're an example to us all. You shame us all by being so great. Hey, is your mum there?
Thank you. Yeah.
Put your mum on the phone.
Mum.
Fantastic.
Hello.
Hey, is that Susan?
Yes, hello.
Susan, we've just heard the story there from Tyler. Amazing. You must be so proud of these boys.
Overwhelmed. Yeah, and I'm very, very proud of both of them.
Well, we're very proud of them. I'm very proud of you as well. You've done a really good job raising these two kids.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you for allowing them to be on Bob FM this morning.
No, that's fine.
We're naming them as Bob's Best Heroes.
Oh, excellent.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much.
And please stay in touch.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye.
Wow. Stories of heroes this morning.
This is Bob.
Trading standards officers have confiscated 15,000 of these hoverboards, which have
Now,
been examined.
are they dangerous or not? Clearly, they're knockoff. And I maintain, if you know you're buying knocked off stuff, you're not being ripped off. As long as you know that it's not the genuine article.
You know what to expect.
Yes, I once bought a camera. I had a little Pentax digital camera. And to get the actual camera case from Pentax was something ridiculous, like 30 quid. But on eBay, I found one for £5. Still said Pentax on it, but I clearly knew it. There's no way it can be. Yeah. And my point there is, if I'd bought the Pentax one, I would have been being ripped off. So I bought the knockoff so I didn't get ripped off.
Right.
Right. So, but it's amazing how this stuff that they seize is always deadly.
Yes.
I can remember this. My old man worked at, there's an oil refinery up north, a big one called Stanlow.
I love your dad.
Right.
He's got so many stories.
Right. He used to work, he was a piping supervisor on this construction job, Stanlow, in the northwest of England, this refinery. And he'd come home with all sorts of things. Like, I mean, you're going to find this hard to believe. You're going to make it sound like I'm making up like it's some comedy bit, but it's true. I used to go to school in steel toe cap safety boots because my dad worked there.
Brilliant.
It was like I needed a new pair of shoes. And my mother was whining about how expensive they were and how the last pair didn't last long enough because I'd played football in them or something, you know. And he went, "What size are you?" And he went down the stores and he came home with a piece. "I've got your pair of boots there. You go to school in now." He's going to school in steel toe cap safety boots that he'd robbed from work. Anyway, like one birthday one year was a watch.
Yeah.
Well, where'd he get a diver's watch? Where'd you get a diver's watch from on a construction site? I wonder. So there was all this stuff for some reason for sale on the site. And one time he came on with like a case of tins of salmon. But there's no label on them, right? It's just like it's a tin of salmon, but no label on it. And we'd eaten about 5 tins out of about a case of about 20. I can't remember what it was. The cupboard was just full of these tins of salmon with no label on them. We're having salmon sandwiches morning, noon, and night. But anyway, it comes on the news how this ship going into Liverpool or something container had been. Anyway, there was like a load of stolen tins of salmon locally, not that far away from Stanlow. Right. And they announced that they're pretty sure it contains botulism.
Oh, great.
We'd eaten tins of it. There's nothing wrong with it. So I'm just saying, I'm just being a bit wary. It's amazing how this stuff that gets seized is always dangerous. Maybe, just maybe, maybe I'm living proof that it's not.
Bob's Breakfast.
Has there ever been a time, Chris, where more hypocrites have been put together in the same room as this UN climate change conference in Paris?
Well, there's 150 world leaders there at the moment.
150 world leaders. Now, they were addressed by Prince Charles yesterday.
That's right,
Now, you know something about Prince Charles and his movements.
Well, he visited Stevenage. This must have been a couple of years ago now. And we were all waiting outside, the obedient press, just waiting for him to be brought round the corner in his 4x4. Anyway, instead of coming...
So, first of all, a 4x4, it's a Range Rover, one of the least energy-efficient vehicles you could drive.
There wasn't just
that.
There were some Royal Protection Officers in another Range Rover as well.
Oh, another Range Rover, yeah.
So, maybe he was being driven all the way from London in the Range Rover. Yeah. No, he arrived in a helicopter in a field next to where we were meeting.
Yeah.
got out of the helicopter, and then got into one of the Range Rovers that had been driven over to him all the way from London.
So he could have got a lift from London in the Range Rover.
So he could have done.
I mean, he could have got the train, to be fair.
Yeah.
And a local mayor's car could have picked him up, or a rental car, a limousine company, or even a taxi. All right, maybe not a taxi, but there would be cars in Stevenage that could have quite easily picked him up from the railway station. But no, he arrives in a helicopter gets in one of the Range Rovers that have been driven up from London without him in it.
Yes.
Right? So this man, Prince Charles, he gave an address yesterday at the Climate Change Summit on how we all need to be doing more to...
he was the star turn, wasn't he?
He was the star turn. But he's addressing a room filled with politicians from 147 countries who are also chauffeured around daily in huge cars, helicopters, private jets. Honestly, if any of them were serious about doing something, there wouldn't even be a conference in Paris. They'd be doing it on Skype.
Bob's Breakfast.
Gary, where are you right now?
Yeah, we're still at Oakfields Road, just waiting for the ambulance now.
Okay, so if someone around Nebworth is hearing ambulance sirens and seeing blue lights in your mirror, please do whatever you can. I know the traffic is just gridlocked because of that problem on the A1M, but just get up onto the verge or the curb, or just let them get through because they've got to get to them. So how is Tracey?
Not great, but she's doing okay.
Can we talk to Tracey, Gary?
At the moment, no. She's having contractions again.
All right, hang on in there, Gary.
Thank you.
The most stress your kids have ever caused you. Diana?
My son Glenn, when he was 4, he burnt my house down.
Hang on, wait, he burnt the house down? How did he do that?
He lit a little bit of paper under his brother's bed, and he expected his brother to go to bed and find his bed gone.
Yes.
But he ended up burning the whole house down, and we lost everything.
Where did you live?
Me and my husband at the time slept around his mum's on the settee, and we lived off car boot sales for ages and ages and ages.
Oh, dear.
I was cooking sausages, and my daughter's boyfriend said, "You're burning the sausages," and I thought, "No, I'm not." And then your house is on fire, so we got out quick, and it was just everything.
Well, I'm glad everybody was safe. Wow. Yeah. All right. Do you ever let him forget it now? How old is he now?
He's 28 now. He lives in New Zealand.
Oh.
He remembers it.
Oh, he remembers it when he burnt the house down.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Hey, thank you very much, Diana. Bob. Michael Button has just tweeted with a photograph of the ambulance on its way to you. So hang on in there, Tracey and Gary. That looks like good news. Michael says, just seen the ambulance by the Vauxhall dealership. They're en route. So good luck on that one. 01438 422 106. Good morning. Who's this?
Oh, good morning. My name's Kevin. I've just driven in from Stevenage right away through Nebworth and that way up to Welwyn Garden City.
Yeah.
And just let you know that it's to add injury to the wound. At the clock roundabout, there's an articulated lorry that is actually just broken down on the roundabout itself, which is now blocking the traffic. It can't go anywhere.
Okay. Hey, thank you very much, Kev.
Okay.
Cheers.
That's right.
Let's
Okay,
hope
bye now, bye.
that doesn't stop the ambulance getting through to Gary and Tracey.
It will.
All right. Thanks for the update, Kev. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Bye now, bye.
We'll go live to Gary and Tracey in a bit on Bob FM.
Bob's Breakfast.
It's an odd thing, isn't it? The whole Christmas shopping phenomenon.
Oh, I hate it.
The thing is, you often get stuff you don't want.
Mm.
You have to pretend you like it.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, like socks.
Every year.
But we never want them. Women always buy men's socks. We never want socks, ladies. We don't. The message we get when you give us the gift of socks is, you didn't even try. Do you actually think we want socks? How would you like it if all we got for you was a pair of tights? I mean, really, that's the same.
There'd be hell.
That's what we're doing. There'd be hell to pay.
Yeah.
Do you know who does want socks?
Who's that?
The homeless. When they ask for the number one gift item that homeless shelters ask for, They want socks, but it's hardly ever what gets donated. Homeless shelters are inundated with gloves and hats and scarves, but not socks. And socks have all kinds of health benefits, wet feet and all the rest of it. The homeless want socks. So, I mean, one of the great paradoxes of the festive season is that we lap up Christmas messages of goodwill and the true meaning of Christmas fed to us by Dickens and Schultz and Dr. Seuss, Scrooge, Snoopy, the Grinch. They're busy reminding us what Christmas should be all about. And we lap it up. But we're so busy spending money, we don't have to buy people we don't like things that they don't want, that we don't have time to do anything to make a difference. Really, if you're thinking about giving a gift this year and you're thinking about giving the gift of socks, how about donating some socks to a homeless shelter or a homeless charity? That would be a way better idea, wouldn't it?
Great idea.
And there are actual charities that specialise it. One of them's called Socks and Chocks.
Really?
Another one's called Bombus. Another one's called The Joy of Socks, which I kind of like the name of.
Yeah.
No, really, that would be a proper Christmas stocking. Where are you, Connie?
No, I'm waiting for a bus at the moment. Hertford Tees.
We've been asking people to commit random acts of kindness.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Have you committed one recently?
Not recently, no.
Is there anyone else at the bus stop?
Yes. Another lady that catches the bus.
Can you quickly put her on?
Hold on.
All right.
You're talking to Graham.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, she seems keen.
Hi, Graham.
What's your name?
Harriet.
Harriet, where are you catching the bus to?
Hertford Town, so I can get the train.
Okay, and how much is your bus fare going to be?
It's going to be £1.50.
Okay, can you put Connie back on the phone?
Sure.
Okay.
Hello?
Connie?
Yeah.
How about you pay for Harriet's bus fare? It's £1.50.
Yeah, it's all right then.
Oh, you'll do that? Okay, when you get on the bus, I want you to say to Harriet, this trip's on me.
Okay, will do.
All right, that's good.
All right, Harriet, I'm paying your bus fare. Thank you very much.
Well, all right. Can we check?
It's coming now.
Oh, the bus is coming now. How far away is it? Is it close?
It's just coming to the bus stop now.
Is it coming? Are you about to get onto the bus?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's hear you actually commit this random act of kindness and pay for Harriet's ticket as well. Let's hear that.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
Okay. So the
morning. Can I pay for Harriet's bus fare, please? Bob FM, this is the bus driver.
Okay, right, yeah. Right, so you're okay. You've paid Harriet's fare now?
Yeah.
You're all set?
Yes, we're off now.
Look at that! It's another random act of kindness on Bob FM.
Okay.
Just had this via Facebook from Tracey's mum. Just want to thank everyone for all their help and advice. We are now all aboard an ambulance heading for Lister Hospital. Tracey, doing well considering. Good news. I'll keep you posted on Bob FM. If you were listening on Friday, you would have heard Connie call up. She called from the bus stop and I said to her, find a stranger at the bus stop and pay their bus fare. And she found Harriet. Yeah. And she paid Harriet's bus fare and we heard them get on the bus. Mm-hmm. And it was nice. It was a real random act of kindness. Yeah. But turns out things went horribly wrong. Connie's back on the phone. So tell us what happened after the bus set off.
As the bus went out of the village, there'd been an accident and so we was at a standstill. So half of us thought, oh, well, perhaps the driver will let us off and we'll start walking.
Yeah.
By the time I got down to the roundabout, the bus passed us.
No! And he didn't pick you up?
You did a random act of kindness by paying a stranger's bus fare on that very bus trip. You got off the bus because you thought it'd be quicker and the bus driver drove right past you.
He couldn't stop. He just couldn't stop.
I'm sorry, buddy. God.
Well, that was all right. That was my fault because we should have stayed on.
Well, no, it was his fault.
He should have picked you back up.
That was a random act of unkindness.
Well,
I am so disappointed. Because kindness is supposed to be contagious. Karma is supposed to kick in and help here. Goodness me, there's been a glitch in the Matrix.
Turn your knob to Bob.
I nearly recommended that my in-laws watch soft porn. There was a TV show on BBC One, 9 o'clock, called Dr. Foster. Now, it was shot in Hitchin. Julie and I, we live in Hitchin. Now, Julie's parents live in New Zealand, and they've never been to Hitchin. We've been telling them all about it and how we like it. And then I said to Julie, well, hey, there's this TV show on last night. I haven't seen it, but apparently shot in Hitchin. They get a lot of British TV in New Zealand. We should tell your parents to look out for this show, Dr. Foster, and we can say, hey, look, that's where we live. That's what it looks like. So, just to have a look at it, I go on the BBC iPlayer. Holy dooly. Did you see the opening scene? Now, it didn't help that when I went onto the iPlayer, for some reason, the audio description was... There's a switch, audio description. It must be if your site's not so good. They have a creepy voice describe what's going on. So this is the very opening scene.
Bearded, good-looking Simon helps Gemma remove her top.
Oh!
She throws the garment across the bedroom while he straddles her in his underwear and unbuttons his shirt.
Okay! Goodness me!
Now, both naked,
All right.
they melt into a joyful...
Okay, you get the idea.
Follow us on Twitter at BobFM UK.
I got locked out of a car I was driving once, Chris.
Did you?
Yeah, we're talking about locked out this morning. Yeah, we had this... Julie had this car we leased. It was a Lexus. And it was one of these with the keyless entry system. Have you ever driven a car like that?
No.
You don't have a key, you have like a fob. And the fob, as long as you're near the car and you open, the door just opens. You don't have to blip the fob or anything. You just have to have the fob on you. And when you get in the car, you just push the start button. You don't have to put the fob into the car.
Oh, actually, we did drive one on holiday once.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you know the kind of thing I'm dealing with.
Absolutely.
We lived in Swindon and we drove up to Liverpool to go to a football match to Anfield. So it's quite a trek. Traffic on the M6 was a nightmare. We're really, really running late. Now, I haven't got the tickets. My mate John's got the tickets, and he's outside the ground because he sells fanzines. He's the editor of the Red All Over the Land fanzine, and he's selling the fanzines. He's outside the ground. So we're running so late. I'm thinking if we get there too late, we're putting him in a position, does he wait outside the ground and not go into the match and miss the kickoff and everything, waiting to give us our tickets? Or does he go in which case we can't get in and we've driven all this way?
Yeah.
So we get to I think it's like 2:45 by now. It's 3 o'clock kickoff. It's about, I said to Julia, we get to the ground. I said, look, get out, go and see John, get the tickets. I'll meet you at Flagpole Corner. I'll go and park the car. We're going to be late, whatever happens. Now, I'd forgot because it was her car. Whenever I got in to drive it, I was always with her. So I never actually had the key on me. So she gets out and goes to get the tickets. I'm driving along Walton Breck Road. This is match day. There's 43,000 people about to go in to see this football match. The road's mobbed. The police are everywhere. There's horseback police, whatever. This car goes beep, 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 beep. No key detected. Oh, no. She's walked off with the key. Well, of course. Yeah. So then the car stops. And the copper comes over to me and says, hey, you can't park here. Come on. And I'm like, I haven't got the key. And he's like, what? And I haven't got the key to the car. I can't drive it. He's like, how did you get in here? I'm like, well, you see, it's a keyless thing. Oh, my goodness.
Police in Oklahoma have been making headlines around the world with one single picture. A police car with a policeman in the front. Nothing unusual about that. But a donkey sat in the back with its head out the window.
Donkey in the back of the police car?
Donkey in the back of the police car. They've given a donkey a lift after rescuing the animal.
The donkey's poor thing. He's gone, I done nothing wrong. Please let me go. It wasn't me. It was another guy. He looked a lot like me. We all look the same. What's happened to you, Darren?
A few years ago, I did get locked out of someone's house, and I've got a few ladders there. So I run a ladder all the way from one end of the town to the other on my shoulder, put it up against the window, got through the window, got downstairs, and then realised the back door was actually unlocked. So I've done all that for nothing.
We're well and truly into Brussels sprout season now, and anybody who's not keen of this vegetable will know exactly how this child feels. Now, a year 3 pupil at a primary school in Cambridgeshire is thought to have been smuggling sprouts into school and hiding them in other pupils' bags. Now, it's thought this could be because they've been hiding them off their plate at home and then looking for somewhere to dispose of them.
Oh, these are cooked sprouts.
These are cooked sprouts, yeah. A letter to parents from the head teacher says, a child who we believe may be in year 3 has been bringing in cooked sprouts from home. These have been discovered in children's bags, we think in an effort to dispose of them. Since we have children in the school with severe food allergies, this is obviously a situation where we require your assistance in monitoring. Now, one dad has spoken to the papers saying he thought the child should be rewarded for such a plan of getting rid of food in this way.
Yeah, but it wasn't the perfect crime.
No,
yeah.
no.
It's got to be the perfect crime, because my sister used to do this. my sister, not take them into school. She's 4 years younger than me. And she didn't like vegetables. She would hide them. She'd take them off her plate and she'd hide them. Talking of not the perfect crime.
Yes.
My mother comes up to the plate and she goes, "Oh, you've eaten, Lindsay, you've eaten all your vegetables. Well done." And she goes, "Don't look under the carpet."
Bob's Breakfast.
When you've been locked out, Mike.
Well, mine was a little bit weird because it was on my honeymoon.
You got locked out on your honeymoon?
Yep.
What happened?
We went to Jersey and we're staying in a guest house. And the trip over from the UK was in a force 10 gale, so my wife was really ill by the time we got there.
This was a boat you went across on?
Yeah, we went across on a boat, and when we got there, she was having to take stuff to calm herself down and that, so we went to bed. What I didn't realise was if I come out of the bedroom to go down to the loo at about 3 o'clock in the morning, I needed a key, because the way the latch was, I needed a sort of key to get back in.
Yeah.
Anyway, I came down to the loo, went back up. My wife was so sparko she couldn't hear me. Everybody else in the house was asleep. So my lockout was I actually had to sleep on the settee in the lounge until somebody woke up at about 6 o'clock in the morning and let me back in.
And that was your wedding night?
That was my honeymoon night. Yeah.
Bob's Breakfast.
Chris Hubbard brought us a great story a few minutes ago about a donkey that was picked up by the police and was in the back of the police car. And it's tickled you, Bonzi.
I just got this image of it going down the road with his head out the window. E-or.
This is Bob.
I need to get your opinion on this because I don't know if this is a mistake or a deliberate attempt at humour.
Okay.
Last night I'm flicking through the Evening Standard newspaper online.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story in there, an important story, but I want to know, the headline just made me laugh uncontrollably.
Okay.
And I wondered whether, well, I laughed because I thought they'd put the headline up and not realised how funny it is. I don't know whether they were deliberately trying to be funny, but I'm pretty sure somebody wrote the headline quickly without realising what they'd said.
Sometimes happens.
The story is about a private ambulance. An ambulance that travels around London doing private circumcisions.
Yes.
Okay, so providing an important service.
Yeah.
The ambulance was stolen.
Okay.
And police have now recovered the ambulance. Based on information from a member of the public.
Right.
That's the story.
Okay.
The headline: Stolen circumcision ambulance found after tip-off.
Bob's Breakfast.
What's happened to you, Darren?
Yeah, I had to ring the fire brigade and the police one sunny Saturday afternoon when I lived at the house with my little girl and my wife.
What happened?
Well, some buffoon, like, one of the neighbours in the next street, he had a crowd of people, obviously, out in his back garden, like, all drinking and doing whatever, like, yeah, and then the whole neighbourhood just got blacked out with all this black smoke, and it really, really stank. So obviously he was like burning rubber or something like that in his back garden.
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I was sitting out in the garden like with my wife and the dog and the little, like, you know what I mean? I thought like, well, what's going on here? Like, you know what I mean? It's the middle of the day, you can't have a fire, and what's he burning? So anyway, I went and knocked on the door, like, yeah, obviously I got no answer because they're in the back garden, like, all drinking and playing loud music and obviously having a bonfire.
Right.
So they wouldn't answer the door or anything. They couldn't hear me over the music. So I went home, like, and rang the fire brigade.
Yeah.
And the fire brigade turned up, like, pretty sharpish, like, yeah, but I couldn't believe that they also left pretty sharpish and told the people in the garden to put it out themselves.
Oh, really? Do it yourself?
Yeah, do it yourself. And then they left.
Right.
And these people didn't do it themselves, like, yeah.
Right.
And so then I thought, right, now it's my rules.
Right, okay.
So I went home, got a club hammer, went back, smashed a great big hole in the garden fence, right, and then told them myself to put it out, and the police were there in 10 minutes.
Well, I'm sure they were, because you can't take the law into your own hands, Darren.
Well, I tried ringing the fire brigade, and they...
Well, yeah, I know, but I can see. So when the Rozzers arrived, were you cautioned or anything then?
Well, I got nicked for criminal damage,
Right,
an
yeah.
offensive weapon,
Yes.
and breach of the peace.
Yeah, well, that's a lesson for all of us there. Darren, thank you so much. There's a call from Darren with advice of what not to do.
Bob's Breakfast.
Things have got so bad with plastic bags in supermarkets now after they brought that 5p a bag charge in that one supermarket is now tagging its baskets because people are walking off with them.
Of course they are. How can you have a system where it's 5p for a plastic bag, but it's only £1 for a trolley? Push the trolley home.
I've not thought of that.
The amount of people that must be pushing trolleys home. Oh, it's a ridiculous thing, this. And it's all to kill the planet. That's what the whole idea is. It is no secret that those plastic bags are harmful. You know, sea turtles can choke on them. That's just one of the things they do. The supermarket should give you a biodegradable bag, or at least the choice. There is no incentive. Now that the supermarkets, they only make 4p off the bag, by the way, because the government takes a penny in VAT. VAT at 20% comes out. The government gets a penny off every one of these plastic bags. So now that the supermarkets can make 4p per plastic bag, there is no incentive for them to come up with a biodegradable bag instead. So they're going to find the most toxic bag they can find to justify you having to pay the 5p because they're leveraging your guilt and telling you that it's you that's killing the sea turtles when in fact it's the supermarkets because they're not providing you with the bag. The problem is most of those supermarket plastic bags were recycled. That's what we used to line our bin with.
Yes.
Now, we have to go out. If Julie takes the hippie bag to the supermarket, the canvas thing, then she comes home and there's no plastic bags. We have to then buy more plastic bags to use for bin liners. So we're buying more plastic bags now, and still there's no degradable one in sight, and there won't be as long as there's money in it for the supermarkets and the politicians. Stories of revenge. What's yours, Julie?
When I worked for another company, one of the girls there did not get on with the manager.
Right.
So when he went on holiday, she went into his office and had a wee on his chair.
No.
Which over the 2 weeks he was on holiday dried out, obviously, as it would. And when he came back into work and went into his office, he said, "What's this stain on my chair?" But he was sitting on the chair. He kept looking up at the ceiling thinking there'd been a leak. But it didn't stop him actually sitting on the chair. And everyone was walking around going, "We know what it is."
Yeah, oh, we do. Yes, we know.
More than 100 well-known names have called for the UK to take in more refugees.
Thanks a lot, Chris. So who is calling for Britain to do more now? Movie stars?
Movie stars Keira Knightley, Jude Law, Benedict Cumberbatch, amongst the others.
This is weird. They're calling for Britain to do more. Maybe we should be doing more. But why aren't more people saying that the Gulf states need to do more? Closer neighbours than Britain, closer culturally, and usually the same religion as the people that are fleeing from the likes of Syria. So far, I just want to give you some facts and then we'll leave it alone. You make your own mind up. So far, only Jordan and Lebanon have taken migrants. They're the only two Gulf states, and they're not very rich. Lebanon has taken so many migrants that a quarter of Lebanon's population is now migrants. But the richest, and I'm looking at you, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, UAE, Qatar and Bahrain, the richest have taken none. They have a combined GDP of $2 trillion a year and a combined population smaller than Britain of only 55 million people. So they have the room and they have the resources. But why is nobody saying they need to do more?
The age-old tension between parents and their son's wife has been ranked as one of the major causes of family fallout. And the fact that maybe a son doesn't speak to his parents anymore, this is according to new Cambridge University research. They've found long-term rifts in families are more likely to lose contact with male children than female children after they get married. But that clash is likely to centre around the wife.
So the old mother-in-law joke thing, it's actually not the bloke and the wife's mother, it's the husband's mother.
That's right.
And the wife that have the issue.
Absolutely. I guess these sorts of surveys come out at Christmas, don't they? When it's a sort of typical family time and they're trying to get people together.
Yes.
It's kind of very, very seasonal.
It's a pressure cooker that they put families under Christmas, basically. Yeah. That's what it is.
Well, one of my cousins is actually in the police force elsewhere in the country, and she said the amount of family incidents they have on Boxing Day that they're called out to.
They don't call it Boxing Day for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, they say this really.
So they get through Christmas Day.
Yeah, Christmas Day is kind of full of fun and festivities and artificial kind of jollity if your family's that way inclined, because you've got the distraction of presents, you've got the distraction of Christmas dinner, and then.
Well, it's a good job we have sport on Boxing Day. You can go out and watch. Get out of the house and go and watch a game.
Absolutely.
That's the greatest thing about Boxing Day, except that the public transport is useless. To get to the game's pretty tricky.
It probably
makes no sense. Makes no sense. But yeah, well, I don't know. Recently, my mother said to me, I was alone. Julie wasn't with me. She said, Julie's a lovely girl. And that's actually, after all these years of marriage, kind of the first step, I think. Seriously. Julie can't work my family out. They're very northern and very straight talking.
I've got this brilliant image of your family.
Oh, do you remember the show Bread? Remember that show?
Vaguely.
That's my family. They are a sitcom. They're all crazy and it's a sitcom. And there's no way anyone could write this because it all happens so fast. It's like we once went up there and it was winter. And we went to a football match and we came home from the match and we've been out in the freezing cold for hours on end. We looked rough. We came in, we took our woolly hats off. So, your hair's a mess and everything. And my mother at that time was into digital photography and she goes, here, I'll get the camera, I'll take your picture. So she takes this picture and she shows it to us and Julie looks at it and goes, we look terrible. And my mother, quick as a flash, goes, the camera doesn't lie. And Julie doesn't know how to take this.
Yeah.
But they do. I've got to admit, though, I don't understand them either. I find them hilarious. For me, the entertainment value I get from my extended family, and when I'm on the phone to my mother, I should tape them and play them on the air. Because, she's talking about, your Uncle Norman and your auntie and your cousin, he's just got married for the third time. And I don't think she knows he's got so many kids. And I don't even know whether if it's true, it's funny. If it's not true, that she would think that someone would get married and not tell the new wife how many kids he's got from previous marriages. Just that on its own. My mother left her... we panic, because they're old. So every time the phone rings and it's them, we panic. But because she doesn't call us, like, ever. I think the last phone call we got from my mother would have been, it was years ago. It could be 3 years. I ring her every week. Yeah. But the last phone call I got from her was years ago. Now, I rang her on Sunday and I'm talking to her and she says, I've just got out of hospital. I'm like, what? How come I didn't know? Well, your sister came round on Friday and you know how your dad put the boiler for the central heating in the roof 10 years ago? And I'm like, yeah, why did he do that? You put the boiler on the wall in the kitchen or under the stairs. You don't put it in the loft. It's in the loft.
One of the most difficult places to get to.
Yeah, and the thing needs resetting because for some reason he goes round with a radiator key and tries to bleed the radiators and the pressure drops and thing cuts out. Anyway, so someone has to shin up a ladder and reset it in the loft. Well, he can't get up the ladder anymore. He's too old. She can't get up the ladder. She's too old. My sister had come round and my mother had gone, love, can you reset the boiler? It's cold. So they'd got the loft ladder out. My mother's holding the bottom of the ladder. My sister's going up the ladder, and my sister's not exactly built for speed. She's a large girl. She goes up the ladder, she slips off the ladder, lands on my mother. My mother bangs her head on the side of the wall, and next minute my mother's in hospital.
Oh, good
But
grief.
she doesn't call me because she's in hospital. So, but she spent the night.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking to her on Sunday. So then last night we're in bed and we're watching. There's this Scandinavian TV series we watch on the iPlayer, The Bridge, right? We're watching that. The home phone goes. Like, no one rings us on the home phone. It's all mobiles, right? No one rings us on the home phone. And before we could get to it, it clicks to the answer phone thing. It's got an answer phone built in so you can hear them talking. And it's my mother. She says, nothing urgent, just thought I'd tell you, the boiler's fixed. So she spends a night in hospital. I know nothing about it. But after about 3 years of no communication this way from her to me, she rings me to tell me it's panic over, the boiler's fixed.
Bob's Breakfast.
The pizza-loving dog who lost a third of her body weight has been crowned Scotland's Pet Slimmer of the Year. Kayla, a bull mastiff who also used to tuck into roast dinners and bowls of cornflakes, weighed more than 9 stone and had health problems too.
Oh, pets and food, honestly. I tweeted a picture yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it. What happens is Julie goes to work and at lunchtime she comes home and she'll often at lunchtime feed the cats. And if she's fed the cats, she leaves a note so that I don't come in and feed them again. But both of them try it on. She'd been home for lunch yesterday. I got home, I think, about 2 o'clock. And I walked in and both of them met me at the door. And Memphis, who is the biggest guts of them all.
I've just seen your picture.
Yeah. He escorted me to his bowl.
Yeah.
And sat by his empty bowl. And there was a note by the bowl that Julie had left. And it's, well, you can probably see the photo. This is on if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see this. The photo there is of Memphis by the empty bowl and the note which reads,
"Don't let them fool you. The cats have been fed."
Yes.
Bob's Breakfast.
So, Chris, she's going to be in court today.
That's right, yeah. Eleanor Hawkins, 23-year-old, who was charged with indecent behaviour for posing naked on this sacred mountain over in Malaysia.
So they took their clothes off in the middle of nowhere,
That's
not
right.
in a built-up area, and they're saying she offended the mountain.
That's right. Yep.
Now, she offended the mountain so much she caused an earthquake. That's the prosecution's case here.
That is the case.
Is the mountain going to testify? I mean, because without that, how do you know whether because the mountain might have gone, you know what, she didn't look too bad. Why was Prince William making a direct television appeal to the people of China? It's got to be one of the most bizarre aspects of the state visit to Britain of the Chinese president. Prince William was invited to speak on Chinese telly about the issue of wildlife conservation. He's an odd choice as a spokesman for conservation. Do the Chinese know how the British treat our native wildlife? Right now, Britain is in the middle of a continuing badger cull. And the prince himself represents a family that shoots pheasants and hunts foxes with dogs for fun. Now, the problem he's addressing is real and serious. The annual consumption of traditional remedies made of tiger bone, bear, gallbladder, rhinoceros horn, dried geckos and all kinds of other animal parts is of phenomenal proportions. They reckon that today at least 60% of China's billion-plus inhabitants use this type of medicine. You see, it all comes down to that phrase, traditional remedies. I mean, the Chinese who use these medicines believe that these animal parts contain magical healing properties. Now, the people who came up with these cures at the time didn't have the benefit of modern scientific discovery. These people thought the world was flat and didn't know where the sun went at night. Tradition is not science. Tradition is just a crazy belief, a belief that hasn't been questioned for hundreds of years. Now, the prince, when he was on TV in China, would have been asking up to 100 million television viewers to question and even go against their traditions, which is a great idea. But the fact that it was him and not a member of the scientific community that's speaking to them means that he was expecting them not to question one of our traditions, the British tradition of a hereditary monarchy. You see, we believe that a family of German descent are so superior to the rest of us that they were born to rule. We've elevated them to a position of the highest power in the land through no effort of their own. It's predetermined before they're born. There's no fixed term of office, and once they become the head of state, they remain in the role for the rest of their life. They're treated with the reverence of demigods. They live a life of extreme opulence at our expense. Our press fawn over them, and when it turns out that one of their babies does exactly the same thing that ordinary babies do, we're amazed, and it's front page news. Our traditions are just as crazy as theirs and just as harmful, especially if you happen to be a badger, a pheasant, or a fox. Are the Chinese going to take any notice of Prince William? I hope so, because his message is a really important one. But I think that message would be a lot more effective if it was delivered by a doctor. You see, a doctor could show the Chinese more effective ways to cure impotence and illness without killing a tiger, a bear, or a rhino and cutting its bits off.
This is Bob.
Good morning, Tracey's mum.
Good morning.
Linda. Bit of a morning for you.
Slightly, yes. Very much so.
Okay, so where are you right now?
Like, Tracey's now in the hospital, in the room where she's going to actually give birth. She's being examined now.
Mm-hmm.
Gary's with her. I've got walkabout so I can talk to you on the phone.
Fantastic. And how is everybody bearing up?
When the ambulance first got there, Tracey's blood pressure was really high. But once she'd settled into the ambulance, by the time we got here to the hospital, it had gone down to normal.
You know, the whole of the home counties has been following this story.
We have picked up on a few bits and pieces. I've just turned my phone back on.
Yes.
And my phone just almost exploded. So we had picked up on bits and pieces. Obviously, Tracey's not quite with it at the minute.
Yes.
But she will be really surprised of all the interest.
Okay, well, we'll check in with you in a bit, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
All right, that'll be good.
Okay, then.
We'll keep
All
up
right,
to date.
thank you.
Bob FM.
I'm Graham Mack, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you are, make sure you share it on Facebook and Twitter, and you can subscribe at iTunes. Still amazed by that face transplant story. What an amazing piece of cosmetic surgery that was. I'd like to know, what have you had done? What's your story? What do you got, Nancy?
It's like a good and a bad plastic surgery.
Okay, yeah.
I had changed. Well, I had an ear operation, but
Yeah.
to do it, they had to put in behind my ear, so they took my ear off.
They took your ear. They took your ear off. Goodness me.
They had to cut all the way around it and then flap it forward. Anyway, they did the operation. The good thing is I've got perfect hearing.
Yes.
The bad thing is my glasses are wonky because they put it back on about ½ inch lower.
Oh, no. I would have thought that's kind of basic. Didn't they mark it? Oh, dear. Well, you sound like you're getting on all right in life with the wonky ear.
Yeah, I just can't see straight. I can hear, but I can't.
Right, so your hearing is perfect, but your eyesight is a problem now. All right. Nancy, thanks a lot.
Bob's Breakfast.
China's president is going to take part in a procession down the Mall to Buckingham Palace
Is he
later
really?
as well. They're really going out for all of this ahead of a state banquet.
And he's staying at Buckingham Palace, which makes no sense. I'd feel more at home at my house.
You reckon?
Pretty much everything I own, made in China. You're at the Lister Hospital now, Linda.
Yes.
And what's the latest?
Baby's just being monitored now. Going to monitor her for 20 minutes, and then they're going to take it from there.
Okay, so she hasn't given birth yet. When you said
No, she hasn't, no.
But they're monitoring the condition of the
Yes.
baby. But everything looking good?
Everything's looking fine. Contractions are a lot stronger now.
Okay, and Gary, is he doing okay?
Yeah, I think we're all a bit jittery. I think we're all a bit in shock at the minute, but yeah.
The whole of
everybody's
the
fine.
home counties is in shock.
I know that we've just found out. I've just got a call from home to say that. Oh, this is mad. ITV News is going around my house within the hour to interview two of the girls.
Yeah, they're coming here too. So, yeah, this is the big story of the morning. Yeah, this is... When have you been embarrassed by your parents? Sharon?
I was about 18.
Yeah.
I was sitting outside with my boyfriend in the car, just chatting outside our house.
Yeah.
And a few friends in the car as well.
Yeah.
And my dad comes out in his dressing gown and knocks on the window and goes, "What are you guys doing? You know, stop messing around, just come." And that was embarrassing enough. And I said, "Dad, I'm coming in a minute. I'm just finishing off a conversation." And as he walked away in the headlights, he lifted up his dressing gown to reveal his bare bottom.
No!
Backside.
No! Okay, you know pretty much everything there is to know about everything. That's why you bring us the news of what's happening around the world.
Yeah, most
Can
times.
you think of a time when a head of state from another country visited this country and was given a ride in a horse-drawn golden coach along a road that we'd closed specially for the purpose with our head of state?
I can't recall one.
But they've done that for this Chinese president.
They have. They're pulling out all the stops
All
on
the
this
stops.
visit.
Big banquet last night.
Big lavish banquet.
Even Jeremy Corbyn was invited. He scrubbed up well. I would have been worried if he was, because he could have said anything, couldn't he? He's like, human rights. Did he say human rights? No, he said, "You want more rice?" My name is Graham, and I'm a caffeineaholic. This morning, talking about addiction, what demon are you trying to keep in check? What are you hooked on? Gary?
Gambling.
You're a gambling addict?
I've been a gambler since I was 16.
Yeah.
Lucky enough, I'm in a job where it doesn't affect me that much money-wise in the house. I earn a certain amount of money,
Yeah.
and then once that money is paid into the bank, everything else is like, I call it fun money.
Right.
Which is not good because it's quite a lot of money some days.
So what are you betting on?
Right, okay. Unfortunately, every day in this country, you can bet on football
Yes.
all around the world.
Yeah.
So, let's say the big four bookmakers, I won't mention the too many names, but the big four bookmakers give you coupons. Now, when you go into bookmakers to put a bet on for your football,
Yeah.
You're surrounded by horse racing, greyhound racing,
Yeah.
the machines, and I don't go near the machines because I think they have actually probably killed people. Them machines are manslaughter machines.
And what do you mean? What do you mean they've killed people?
Well, I've seen people put hundreds of pounds on one spin, and they've walked out of there suicidal.
Right.
I've seen people do £2,000 in an afternoon. You can put your debit card in, and it cleans your debit card completely out.
Yeah.
Now I won't go near them. Never have them. And I've seen it. And so all I do is I'll go in. But while I'm putting my football bet on, there's a horse racing going on. Like yesterday, for argument's sake, I put my football bet on for the Sunday. Now I was betting on Israeli football, Austrian football, and stuff like that. And then there's a horse race on, so I'll put a bet on the horse racing. So before you know it, your £20 has turned into £40, which has turned into £80, because you're trying to chase your money back if you're losing.
So how much a week would you gamble?
I would say I have, in a week, if it's been, maybe, I would say easily £200-300.
Every week?
I would say so, yeah.
But you understand that you lose that money.
Oh, yeah.
This is the logic of gambling that I can't work. And what? So is it just the thrill of thinking it might come in? Where's the buzz?
I don't know, because sometimes, if something comes in, say if I won £500,
Yeah.
then I would think, well, what's the point of, do I really want to win any more? I don't know where the buzz comes from. When I was younger, I don't think it was a buzz. I think it was because I was training greyhounds at the time. I was surrounded by gamblers, and we tried to win money.
Yeah, in the game.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So now it's just a case of, do I need the money? I don't really know. At my age, I don't really think I actually need the money.
Gary, have you ever thought about getting help?
Oh no, it's not. It's never been a case of I've ever worried about it.
Right, so you just get on with it.
I just get on with it. Yeah, I mean tonight I'll be doing the Dutch football.
Right, okay.
And the worst thing is, I have an app on my phone from one of the bookmakers. I can actually, if I wanted to, I can't put money into my debit account. I can only have a certain amount in there because I can transfer my money from my debit to my account and blow all my money.
Goodness me.
Oh, it's crazy. Absolutely madness.
So you understand it's madness, you understand it's costing you 200 quid a week, but you can't stop.
Exactly.
All right, Gary, thanks for sharing this morning.
You take care.
Thank you.
NHS hospital trusts have been accused of levying a tax on sick people. It's been revealed some are making more than £3 million a year from car parking charges. We've got a breakdown of the figures now on our website, bobfm.co.uk. Specifically picking out West Hertfordshire hospitals, Luton and Dunstable Hospital, and also Buckinghamshire Healthcare. Now, together, 1, 2, 3, 4, I would say they're making about £4.5 million from parking charges in total in the last year. That's a lot of money.
No one would mind if we knew where the money went.
No.
And they say it goes to care for patients, but that's a pretty broad description.
They say all or some of the money was reinvested into patient care.
All or some. Wait a second, as if there's not much difference between all and some. There's a massive difference between, it might be hardly any.
Yeah. But you were saying earlier that you think maybe a breakdown.
I know. Well, I think if it was for something, I don't think anybody would mind paying this much for parking if it was actually for something, but something tangible. If they said, we need this many million to buy a CT scanner, which will save people having to drive to another area where they've got one, and so far from parking, we've raised this much, and have a bit of a totalizer, and it's something tangible. And when we get to this figure, we can get the CT scanner or the kidney machines or whatever it is they need. I say this because I've hosted many charity dues, and often you're just raising money, and it's just an amount of money. And, you know, they might have a target, but it's still just an amount of money. There was one I did years ago in Swindon, and it was for a school. The school looked after kids with disabilities and stuff, and it was to buy them a minibus. It was an expensive minibus because it had to be equipped with proper hoists and all the rest of it, and, you know, different wide opening doors and whatever. And because we had a tangible thing, the minibus, I could go out there and say, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we need to make, and I forget what it was, it might have been like 25 grand. We need to make £25,000 to get this minibus. If we don't get 20, we're not going to get the minibus.
Yeah.
And we had this photo of the minibus up on a big screen. Said, this is what we're doing it for. And we had stories about the kids and stuff just before the auction. That's the other trick. If you organise one of these events, get the real stories of the people you're raising the money for just before the auction. Because auctions, people have had a few drinks. They can get a bit chatty if they're not interested in bidding for the lots. If you tell them what this money's for, it settles them down.
Yeah.
So there's another tip. Anyway. So we went through, and I can't remember, at the end of the night, they added up the auction and the silent auction and the raffle and the other things we'd done. We'd had entertainment on as well. We'd had acts on and stuff. I was the host of the thing. And we got to the end of the evening, and I think we were, I forget the figure, but for argument's sake, we were £1,000 short. That's how much we were short. We weren't going to get the minibus. So they said, oh, that's a shame. You know, you'll just have to tell everybody that we didn't make it. I said, no, let's see what we could do. And I went out there again, and I hosted the auction, and I went out there again, and I said, we're £1,000 short. It might have been 800 quid, whatever it was.
Yes. Yeah.
I said, we're this much short. Who'll give me 100 quid for nothing? I'm auctioning nothing now. Who'll give me 100 quid? Of course, they've all had a few drinks by now.
Yeah.
As the black tie do, there was a hand went up.
Wow.
I said, great. I said, who else will give me 100 quid? And I got it.
Fantastic.
And we got the minibus. But people were giving because there was something tangible. If I'd have gone out there and said, you know what, we haven't made our target, there's no way you'd get the extra money.
No.
It was because it was something tangible. So with these car parking charges, No one would mind paying. They would gladly pay if they knew where the money was going and there was a totalizer and it was saying it was for, I don't know, a CT machine or some kind of, medical equipment. It's expensive.
Absolutely.
If that's what they're just not selling it right. Collecting your Christmas tree stories this morning. I had some good ones. There's a 150-year-old fake Christmas tree that's been passed down through 5 generations of families. John and Christine have that one. Adam has a Christmas tree that's 58 years old. It's in their back garden. It's been growing there since the original owners of the house put it there, and they decorate it every year. Natalie's Christmas tree is called Nigel. He's brand new, costs 42 quid. He's a real Christmas tree. Julie and I, we've got a fake Christmas tree we get out every year, but there's one bauble on it, a heart-shaped bauble, which is from our first Christmas together as a married couple, and it's made it through multiple house moves. It started out in New Zealand, where we lived, where we met and where we lived, and then we moved to Australia for 6.5 years, and it lived there, and it's come to Britain with us, and there it is, still there, still going strong. So what's your Christmas tree story? Keith?
Back in my youth, I used to be based up on the old Berlin fence. I was on the RAF there, on a listening post, and we used to dress the trees up there.
What? Hang on, you were in West Berlin?
Yeah, I was up on the Berlin fence. We couldn't afford a wall in our day. We had a fence bit, up on the Russian front there.
Yeah.
And we used to sort of dress, it's in the fir forest there, so we used to dress the actual fir trees up in the forest there. It's quite nice. We used to get the villagers come out from locally there, and a couple of times the kids would come out and bring us gifts, food and that for Christmas. And we used to dress the trees in the forest.
Isn't that fabulous? Isn't that just brilliant? And the people in the East could look at what freedom looks like.
Well, they could do. I always remember once, about 1970, I was on a radio station, and the radio broke into life, and it was this Russian squaddy over there, the other side of the fence, and he wished us Merry Christmas.
Brilliant. You didn't have a game of football or anything, but yeah, that's pretty close.
There's a big barbed wire fence, so I think it's some mines between us and them.
Right, okay.
David Cameron's urged people to reflect on Britain's Christian values over the festive season. He was saying Christian values have been key to making the country a successful home to all people, regardless of faith.
Well, that goes against what's written in the Bible. I mean, in the Bible, they talk about death to followers of other religions. This is from Exodus. Whoever sacrifices to any god except the Lord alone shall be doomed. Talks about death to non-believers. This is Chronicles 15:12. It says, they entered into a covenant to seek the Lord of God of their fathers with all of their heart and soul. And everyone who would not seek the Lord, the God of Israel, was to be put to death, whether small or great, whether man or woman.
Oh, blimey.
No, well, the Bible talks about killing people who don't listen to priests, kill witches, kill homosexuals, kill fortune tellers, death for hitting dad, death for cursing parents, death for adultery, death for fornication, death to followers of other religions. It goes on and on and on and on.
Well, he didn't make reference to that.
He didn't make reference to any of those things from the Bible. And really, if you ask any Christian... And you and I know lots of nice Christians.
Absolutely.
You ask any Christian, would you believe in all that? Like death to homosexuals? Oh, no.
Of course they don't.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
We go, well, why not? And they go, well, because it's wrong. Okay, so you've got an internal moral compass. Why do you need this book?
This is Bob.
Good morning, Linda.
Good morning.
It was quite chaotic yesterday, wasn't it?
It was just... me and Tracey just sitting in there, just going through all the Facebook and everything on our phones and just absolutely astounded by it all.
You became world famous.
Yes, we realised that. It even went to America as well.
Oh, yeah, no, it's gone around the world, this one. This is a big story. But a happy ending.
A very happy ending. She's absolutely adorable.
Now, you're in that hospital right now.
I am,
Can you put Tracey on the phone?
Yep, hang on a minute.
Fantastic.
Hello.
Tracey, how are you?
Hello, it's Thor.
And she's a beautiful baby?
She is really lovely, yeah. She's just been laid most of the night in a cot, just laying, wondering what all the other babies are crying about, just laid there really chilled out, really.
Ah, are you looking at her right now, are you?
Yeah.
Ah. And what weight?
She was 7'5".
Yeah.
So she's a really lovely colour. She's got quite a bit of hair and she just really chilled out and laid back. So So hopefully she stays that way.
And what did you call her, Tracey?
Melody Sophia.
Melody.
Yeah, Melody.
You decide not to go with Bob?
Decided not to go with Bob.
Because that would have been my, that would have been my choice, the Bob baby,
Yeah.
Bob.
No, she's been Melody Sophia right from the offset. So
Okay.
We couldn't really change it, really.
Well, everyone who listens to Bob FM feels like they're part of the extended family now, because we all went through it with you. We all went through the stress.
You did.
Well, Tracey, thank you very much for letting us share your story.
So thank you for kind of making it a bit worldwide.
Well, on behalf of everybody who listens to Bob, thank you so much to Melody. And Melody, if you can't be Bob, maybe on behalf of the listeners to the radio station, Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle. Exactly.
Bob's your uncle. All right. Thank you very much,
Lovely.
Tracey.
Thank you ever so much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bob's Breakfast.